Bones are amazing things. They hold us up. They support us. They make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Welcome back to Bone Throwers Theater. We are currently playing Reliquary. I am Ellie, and I am playing the new character of Hokulani.
And this is Jerry playing Xinoa Poe.
This is Jeff playing Nehim.
And this is Johnny playing Fillani.
This is Aaron playing Luthecin Trant.
And I am Jordan, and I am playing Vonu'ou.
As Ellie said, we are playing Reliquary. This is by Gordie Murphy, picked up off of Kickstarter. We're using this to continue world building for our Wayfinders campaign. And what we're about to do is, now that we have our characters created and we have a starting base of New Hekili defined, we are going to begin our search. And what we're searching for is we are looking for the original text of the Wayfinders Treaty. So, how we're going to continue, the next step is that Jordan is going to choose one of the 3 piles of locations we have defined, and he's going to point to one of them without flipping it over yet.
So my question is, how do our own personal, the things that we hope to find, the threats that are facing us, the secrets or legends that we have, how do those affect the overall grand quest of the story?
So I think how that can affect a lot of stuff is when we go to a location, you will be answering some perspectives.
Okay, and those prompts that we have in front of us gives us guidance on how to answer those questions.
For instance, let's say we have somebody who is playing the tradesperson. If we run out of supplies, meaning we run out of dice in our dice pool, we become desperate and we have to answer from a desperate perspective. So, for instance, the tradesperson has one of their questions: how does this place seriously hamper your ability to practice your trade? What do you destroy here because of your trade? And what do you find here that is dangerous to your trade's place in society?
Okay.
So from that desperation, that can tie into your personal goal, you giving something up for those personal goals, as well as some of the lost knowledge options that we will encounter as we travel.
I like it. So I would like to choose from the center pile of cards.
Okay. Now, we as a group have to decide how many dice we are willing to risk on this specific location we are about to explore.
I would like to risk 7 dice.
We have 4.
I would like to risk 7.
We get to decide how many we will risk, not how many we would like to.
I say 3.
3?
I say 3.
Are we all in agreement that 3 dice?
3 sounds fine.
I'm handing those 3 dice to Jordan. At that point, we will also deal out 3 cards face down in front of that center pile. 1, 2, 3. The next step is to flip over the location.
Dun, dun,
The
dun.
location we are exploring is Vonu'ou. Vonu'ou is a planet defined in the microscope session.
I don't remember that.
Vonu'ou is the home world of the Dinorrhea.
Of the bird people.
Right, the bird people.
It is actually very relevant that I got this one because
Yes, it
I
is.
am playing a Dinorrhea.
Dinorrhea, flightless birds, explorers begin setting up small colonies in the rings around their home world of Vonu'ou to hunt nearby space life. They encounter the Onomo'u and set up trade relations.
Another species.
So
this actually ties very much into my own personal goals because the Dinorrhea remnant on New Hekili is small and I need to find more of my own people.
well,
We
you
will definitely
may or may
encounter
not
something.
encounter some of your people here. All right, so we are going to
What does one need to get on the dice for success?
3 to 5 is a partial, 6 plus is complete success.
Okay.
So we will now reveal the 3 cards that we have. From there, we will get to decide how we want to explore these 3 locations. So there is a 10 of diamonds, there is a 3 of clubs, and there's a 6 of diamonds.
Okay.
Clubs are people. I remember that.
Clubs are people. Diamonds are artificial landmarks.
Oh.
The numbers kind of matter because of if we get a success, we may get extra dice, as well as the order might make a difference. So, for instance, the 10 of diamonds is a relatively significant artificial structure. So it could be that we can see a large city there. The 3 of clubs, maybe it's a large city, but there's only a handful of Dinorrhea living in that. I'm not saying this is how
Sure.
So because we see the 10 first and then the 3, why is it an insignificant number of people?
So diamonds are artificial landmarks. Clubs are...
Clubs are people. Hearts are signs of past civilization. Spades would be hostile entities.
Clubs are hostels.
No, spades are hostiles.
Oh.
Clubs are friendlies.
Or
People.
It could be hostile. It doesn't have to be friendly. But...
Correct. And hostile entities doesn't necessarily need to be people.
No.
So, the very first step is Jordan gets to define what that 10 of diamonds is.
It is an artificial landmark. I am going to say that it is a labyrinth that is built to celebrate the Great Egg.
They are
Anything like the Great Pumpkin?
The Great Egg is the birth of the next galaxy to come.
question. Is the labyrinth 2-dimensional or 3?
3-dimensional. It is a full-on, multi-story
Gotcha.
structure that probably covers about 7 acres.
Pretty large.
So is the great egg like inside the structure, or is it just built to... How does it celebrate the great egg?
The Great Egg is seen as our current galaxy. This is how they understand the cosmology. As you go through it, the Dinorrhea cosmology becomes apparent. It lays out the history of the world as the Dinorrhea see it, as like what's important to them.
So it's not just a labyrinth, it's a history and art museum.
It is a temple. It is a shrine. It is a sign of the birth of what can come that is greater beyond the fragility of the world as the Dinorrhea know it.
All right.
Awesome.
Cool.
So after defining what the aspect is, the active player, that would still be Jordan, should answer a question from their perspective list. What is your perspective?
I am the scout.
You are the scout. You get to choose one of those questions and answer it about this labyrinth.
So let me read off the questions just as an establishing point. What do you recall about this area from having traveled through before that helps you? What unexpected thing do you find here that isn't on your maps? What hidden area do you uncover? What has changed here from the last time this area was mapped? What news can you bring back to Hakili? What is the most significant update to the map that needs to be made? Do I have to mark off the question that I just did?
I think you can use it again.
It's not a one-time use.
No.
So the most significant update to the map that needs to be made is that the stone egg that is at the center of the structure, the one that represents the hope that is to come, has actually been defaced. It looks like it has been etched all over the surface of it with acid, and it looks like holes have been drilled clear through. And what is really crazy is that it has been drilled through enough so that the pieces have come apart, and it is now being suspended in an anti-gravity field that is holding all of the pieces in place. But if you touch one of them, it will fall out because the anti-gravity field is only large enough to just kind of envelop what is right there immediately. And when it falls out, if a piece falls out, then one of the labyrinth tunnels begins to collapse.
Nice. Okay. At this point, we will choose how many dice we want to roll. I think we should go ahead and work our way around the table describing the other aspects, the clubs and the 6 of diamonds. And then we need to decide how many we want to spend on each of those cards. So, the 3 of clubs is a group of people, and Ellie can describe the 3 of clubs.
A group of, they call them the Special 8, and their job is to travel around finding new materials from different planets to use for the weaponry. Can even be down to plants, not necessarily building the weapons, but in order to help further research building better weapons, especially.
Nice. I like it. And then the 6 of diamonds.
One of the tunnels of the labyrinth actually leaves the structure, and a good couple kilometers away brings you out of a cave in a oasis-like place with desert surrounding it. And there's a huge monument at the mouth of the cave. Let's say like 20-story monument.
Nice. On that note, Ellie, also, can you answer one of those perspective questions about that group of people?
From your perspective.
From the artist perspective.
Okay.
Do I do the same thing?
Yeah.
So I'm pulling the question, what here inspires you to create?
Mm-hmm.
In regards to my ultimate goal, obviously I want to leave a legacy. This group of people, especially, they have found a substance on a remote planet that helped to better the firepower of a weapon they created. This allowed the population to protect their planet better. So it's remembered in history. So I guess I'm drawing from that to pursue something like that. I don't know. Sorry.
No, I like it. I think like create a new story, or what kind of artist are you? Are you a
storyteller?
You are a storyteller. So a new historical story to pass down to other people. And,
sure.
Yeah. All right, and then about the cave with the desert oasis from the engineer perspective, Jeremy.
Yeah, so the question I'm going to pick is, what hidden function do you detect here? In looking at this monument, there appears from vantage point of the ground to be an emitter of something at the top. I speculate that it was a shield of some sorts, because the foliage of the oasis is a perfect circle around the mouth of the cave, around the monument. And it's a stark contrast. You step off into desert from foliage.
Nice. Okay. So now that we have the 3 aspects defined, now we get to roll dice for these 3 aspects. And how this is going to work is that if we get a 6, we find concrete, verified, helpful knowledge, and we're going to write that knowledge down. If we find a 3 to 5, we find a legend or rumor, some form of unsubstantiated information. If we roll a 1 or 2, it is a failure. Now, the reason we might want to roll more than 1 dice on some of these is that, let's say on that 10, if the card is a 2 to 6 and we roll a success, it doesn't matter. We don't gain anything. If it's a 10 and we roll a success, we get to add dice to our dice pool. If we roll a 6, we get to add 2 dice. If we roll the 3 to 5, 1 die to our dice pool.
Are they added together or is it individual?
It is individual.
You take the best one.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So we get to define how many dice we want to roll for each of these 3 locations.
Well, because if that's the case, then we have to roll 1 for each.
That I was going to say.
'Cause there's 3 dice and there's 3 cards. Or can we say we'll roll 2 for the 10 in hopes to get another that we can use later on?
That's a big risk.
I mean, that's the only risk we have, basically. Because the other 2 cards are... No, they're not going to give us another die.
That's true.
Okay. Essentially, there's an issue with the rule set. Because if you choose to roll multiple dice for 1 aspect card, you must still resolve each aspect card. After using up all dice within the location, use the desperate perspective questions for all remaining aspect cards.
So you use the desperate.
You'll also create lost knowledge for each of these aspect cards as if you had rolled a 1 or 2. So let's say we want to use all 3 dice on this 10 in the hope to get some dice back. The other 2 cards we will create lost knowledge for.
But then what do the dice gain do? They just gain for future?
We can use them on those other 2 cards or as we travel to our next location.
So we can use them on there, but then we would still be creating lost knowledge?
No. So if we use all 3 and we have no dice to explore the other 2, yeah, at that point we're creating lost knowledge.
All right. So I would do 2 on the 10 in hopes to at least gain 1 more.
Are you okay with that, Ellie?
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
Who would like to roll?
Jordan.
We want 6s.
Yeah, we want 6s. Oh, so yeah.
3 and 1.
So we got a 3. So we gain 1.
It is a partial success. We gain 1 dice to our dice pool. So, partial success. You find a legend, rumor, or other unsubstantiated information about your location or the nature of existence. Write it down on the location card.
About the labyrinth. Because we are on the labyrinth.
Yes,
right?
we're on the labyrinth.
This is about your strata, so about the planet, about the location.
Oh.
So does he get to choose it, or can any of us, as a collective, choose it?
It is collective discussion, but Jordan is ultimate say.
Because he rolled the die?
Because he rolled the die and he is
Okay.
the active player for that aspect.
Okay.
Okay. So this is an unsubstantiated rumor amongst the Dinorea.
Can I say it?
No, because I have something very specific that ties into the history.
You can suggest it.
What would you like to suggest?
That if the egg at the center of the thing fully collapses, the planet itself will die.
You're close to my thought, but my thought is a little more dark.
So the galaxy will die?
Almost. If the egg is completely hollowed out and falls apart, then the reborn Atua that brought weaponry back to the different peoples will return and revisit a dark age upon the entire galaxy. That is the legend that I uncover.
I like that one. That's fun.
I wanted to tie it into the history.
That's good.
Fair enough.
I like it.
Okay, so how many dice would we like to roll for the 3 of clubs?
1.
1.
Ellie? 3. Partial success. Create a rumor or legend about Vonu'ou. And it could also have to do with the Special 8, since they are there.
Okay. Legend has it that the Special 8 used the femur of Kahola to find or navigate their way to the planet where they found the special substance to better their weapons.
Now, is this a different special substance that hasn't been defined yet? Or one that we've already talked about?
It was discussed when she mentioned the Special 8.
Okay.
But not really defined what it is.
Okay.
Right.
All right, and then, Jeremy, the last die is for the 6 of diamonds.
6 of diamonds.
1.
Nope.
All right, all we find are dead ends. Write down a question about this location. The answer to this question is lost knowledge and will not be answered at any point during your game.
Can it be specifically about the monument, since we're on that set?
Yeah.
That 6? All right. As the engineer, I was looking for, fitting with my character, trying to find a source of power, and I cannot find anything that I would recognize as power conduits or a source of power connected to the monument.
Nice. All right, next we get to define where we want to go next. So Ellie will be the next person to choose a location.
So, I have a question. Those 3 cards that we just played, the 10 of diamonds, the 3 of clubs, and the 6 of diamonds, those are out of the game.
Yep.
Okay, that's exciting.
Okay, we only have 1 dice that we get to take with us.
When do we get to go back?
I am going to make a judgment call and say after our dice pool is eliminated, we will go back.
Fair enough.
And then we will keep exploring until we run out of supplies. We will go home to resupply, and at that point we will get back up to that 4 that we started with.
4. What if we gain more than 4? Because essentially we gained an additional.
I think with the regular, we will treat those as supplies. If we gain a relic, the relics will never go away. The relics will just be like recharged almost. So the relics are 8-sided die.
All right.
So when we come back to New Hakili, we will have 4 when we head out again.
Okay.
All right, so we have 1. I will deal 1 card face down. Reveal the location. The location is Solar Quest C1.
Nice.
And it is a 3 of spades. So Solar Quest C1 is a 3 of spades, and we discover people.
Hostile entities.
A hostile.
We discover a hostile entity on Solar Quest C1. All right, so the 3 of you have already defined an aspect. So, Fafa, you get to define.
The hostile entity.
So
Style into the
remember, Solar Quest C1 was the ship that originally went through a portal
Ah.
and crashed into the rings of Hakili.
old Hakili.
Yes, the original Hakili planet,
I can read
which
it off.
the ship
read it off.
was irreparably damaged, and so was the ring system,
Yep.
which has sparked a dual rescue effort from both people. I remember because I created the car. Take that, Kahola.
The Excellian science vessel Solar Quest C1 emerges in the rings of Hakili, causing catastrophic damage to the ship and the planetary rings. Rescue efforts from both sides spark a fruitful alliance. And that was considered a light event within our history
Because of the alliance.
because of the fruitful alliance.
Yes.
So that is the new location, is we have found that ship, wherever it may be.
Has it left the rings of the original Hakili and moved out? We don't know. That is up to you to define.
I'm gonna say that it's still jammed straight into those rings.
Still jammed straight.
I was like raspberry.
So what does it look like? Is it beat up? Is it still whole? Has it been repaired?
The front end is missing, but the bulkheads that go back have been sealing off the rest of the ship.
Is there any kind of atmosphere left?
There's been replenished atmosphere.
Well, life support's still working.
Yeah, well, replenished life support and atmosphere inside the ship itself.
Question.
Yeah.
What are we doing about time here?
Or
Because
not?
Because this is hundreds and...
well, we never established how long it was.
Yeah.
So my thing is that happened in a very early era in Microscope, and we are supposed to be playing after
Microscope.
So it would mean that Solar Quest C1
has been functional.
Been made refunctional.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Somebody has come along and refurbished what was left of the ship.
That clarifies it.
Like, I'm guessing that in a past time, they left it there as a symbol of the peace broker between the peoples and as a symbol of the dangers of destroying the rings around a planet that has life. But they came along and sort of changed it into like a museum, like they would an old house.
Oh, okay.
There are plenty of old Navy warships that have been decommissioned and turned into museums.
Yeah, exactly. Something exactly like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, time goes on, people forget about it, blah, 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 war. So, it's still working, but it hasn't been a museum for quite some time.
Okay.
It is now being domiciled as a hidey hole for some not so savory scavengers.
Before we learn more about those scavengers, we're going to take a quick break.
Hey, Mets, have you ever read Dragonlance?
Dragonlance. That sounds familiar.
Well, it was a Dungeons and Dragons campaign
Yeah.
that they turned into a book.
Okay.
And here's the crazy part, though. Let me just pitch this to you, all right? The narrator of the book is actually unreliable. He's spinning us one story while trying to tell another, and you have to kind of piece together from contextual clues or missing information exactly what's going on. It's really, really deep and really, really cool.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. It's about an annoying gnome.
So it's more like my life.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, it's a good thing we have better novels than that to analyze on Alzabo's Soup, where we literally become our favorite authors by devouring portions of their brains.
Devouring brains, of course, means reading books. And over at Alzabo Soup, we dive deep into some of our favorite novels, especially those by famed author Gene Wolfe.
If you're interested, please come check us out. We're online at alzabosoup.libsyn.com or on any of your favorite podcast hosting services.
I'm sorry if I offended any Dragonlance listeners.
No, you're not.
And we're back. Jeff, before the break, you were telling us about these not-so-savory scavengers.
Yes.
Savory, was that the right word?
Yes.
That's how we described our food, so I want to make sure.
No. We described our food as quite savory.
These are not so safe.
I was going to say the food today was on point.
No, these guys are no good rapscallions.
Okay. Tell us about those rapscallions.
Well, they are wrapped scallions. No,
Bacon wrap.
they're bacon wrapped.
That would be so savory.
That would be more savory than I think we're trying to describe them as.
No, they're scavengers, and they have claimed this deserted planet as home base, but they can really only live on the ship.
So, question.
Yeah.
Are they human? Are they alien? Are they a mixture?
It's like a ragtag mixture of peoples.
So, if I can point out in our timeline,
Yeah.
we do have a group of pirates.
Yeah.
Oh, the Tahiri's pirates?
Yes. Are there any relationships to those, or are they like...
It may have been like an ideal brought back. Like, oh, they once ravaged this system. Let's do it again. Only they're not ravagers, they're more... Hey, this is cool. Let's collect it and see if we can get some money off of it.
So you're saying that they're cosplaying as pirates?
Yeah. They're freeloaders and pickpockets and...
Nice. Okay. One other question is to define from your perspective of Seeker. Answer one of the questions about this location and or peoples. Specifically, ideally about these peoples.
Ideally about these peoples. I'm going to go with what rumors ignite from things found here.
Okay.
Because the things found here are these ne'er-do-well scavengers, that's the word. They themselves have been collecting for their taken-over museum. They've collected items that have portrayed them to be the pirates from the past. You know, sort of cosplaying.
So wait, you're saying this is the British Empire?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they are spreading rumors that they are the return of the pirates. What were they called again?
He was...
Tahiri's pirates.
Yeah, he was an Atua who apparently did not fall in lockstep.
Awesome. We need you to roll this die and tell us how we get away from them. With a 2, we do not. All right. With a 2, we gain nothing. We gain lost knowledge. All right. So since, of course, we clearly do get away because we are not held captive, how do we limp away from them with nothing?
We gain lost knowledge, though, right?
Yes, you will have to ask a question that will never be answered in our game.
In this game.
Gotcha.
In this game.
We basically tuck tail and run because they start chasing. They try and chase us, but realize that we, with such a small ship, are not worth the fight, because we obviously don't have anything left. Our ship is looking rather lean. Our question is, how were the pirates defeated before? Because they obviously know and have learned about the pirates, but how were they defeated before?
Nice. All right, from here, because we have nothing left in our dice pool,
Time to go home.
we need to return to New Hakili.
Which makes sense after getting chased off by pirates.
So we have limped back to New Hakili. There's another set of questions I'm trying to find.
Isn't it fun being the person who has to like coordinate the rule book?
Well, I really wish there was
An index.
digital. Again, quick review. I am not a fan of the layout of this rulebook, and some of the things I think are not defined very clearly. All right, so when we return to New Hakili, we have some prompts, and we have to answer 2 questions as a group. First question is, when we return to New Hakili, what unforeseen event requires our attention?
I think that it has something to do with the Pontiff and his lady love.
Ooh. Has something been discovered?
I think there might have been a discovery.
Could she be pregnant?
The tea is piping hot.
Pontiff and Lady Love have become with child.
Ew.
The other question we're going to answer, what do we see upon our return that tells us that New Hakili has changed?
What about settlement ships from other planets trying to recolonize the planet?
Refugees.
Yeah, refugees or something like that.
Because didn't somebody say that your planet's at war? So there could be refugees.
Ooh, let's combine it. I was thinking some decommissioning facilities of weapons have been shut down. Let's say those decommissioned facilities shut down and converted into refugee housing.
Until they can homestead.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
The refugee fleet is not allowed into the rings.
They have to send little shuttles back and forth.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there's like now a cloud of ships in orbit just outside the rings.
Okay. Awesome.
Like it.
So now we get to move on to the active player. Next active player is Johnny. Decide which of the 3 piles we are going to choose a location from. All right. As a group, how many dice do we want to risk on our first excursion?
We have 4, right?
We have 4.
I see
2.
2.
Yes, 2.
Sorry, Ellie, we're not all risk takers.
We risked 3 the first time, and we only had 1 to use on the second one, so.
All right. So the location we are exploring is Kumaka I Lave,
Ellie's
the
playing.
volcanic planet. And the 2 aspects is the Queen of Spades and the 4 of Diamonds.
Spades is hostile.
Diamonds is artificial landmarks. Yeah.
Okay.
So define the hostile entity. Pretty significant one.
Yeah. This is the lava planet. Hostile entity is actually a what we on Earth we call dragons. They're like a flying lizard, fire breathing. Only it's not really fire. It's more of a. They drink lava. They live in the lava, like it's water.
Does it spit lava? Is that what you said?
Well, it can. It lives in the lava.
Okay. Sorry, we need a perspective question.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What here reminds you of your ancestry? The planet feels unusually comfortable to me, whereas everybody else is uncomfortably hot on this planet. It's very comfortable place for me to live casually and be very comfortable in this climate.
Good role playing, Johnny, because that is not you.
Nice. So what we can do before we roll, we can decide to spend both these dice on this queen. And then when I describe the 4,
You do a desperate.
I would do a desperate and automatically create lost knowledge.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Give it a try.
Get the dice.
Yes. We likely will. 2 4s. A 4 is a partial success.
But you do gain once we do have.
Get a die.
Yes. All right, we'll do this in order. Rolling the 4, you find a legend, rumor, or other unsubstantiated information about this planet or location.
Alright. In some runes, we find an inscription that tells a tale of how the Dracones, the dragons, came to the planet and started wiping out the people there.
Nice. We also discover a relic.
Is that because it's a queen?
That is because it is a queen, which is an 8-sided die. So now that we have discovered said relic, we need to describe the relic.
It's the tablet that had that inscription on it, so,
All right.
or like a plate or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Something that has that inscription on it that can be carried.
All right. So the 4 of diamonds. Within those ruins where we discovered the relic, we also find a room. The room has person-sized beds in this room. It looks like there were people there who were caretakers, and they were part of the Dracone. I don't know if I would use the word entourage, but they were definitely there participating in the Dracone's overthrow and destruction of this planet.
I think I know a better word. Coterie.
It's all servants?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Servants.
They're like higher servants, but they're still servants.
Full success.
Our first.
We find concrete, verified, helpful knowledge about this location. The concrete knowledge that we discover, the Dracones can travel through space without a ship.
That's terrifying.
That is terrifying. Can I be one?
All right. Jordan, go ahead and pick a pile.
Okay. So I think last time I picked the middle pile. So this time I'm going to pick the leftmost pile.
Leftmost pile. We have 2 dice left in our dice pool. Do we want to
Yes.
go for both of them?
Yeah.
We'll go with both.
Location we are exploring is the 6 moons of the gas giant Palatu.
Just Jordan's. He doesn't look happy about it.
I'm just amused that like both cards that we pulled I've created when it's my turn.
No, that's true.
That's funny. And it's all been random.
Yeah.
9 of hearts and a queen of clubs. So we are going to discover sign of past civilization and people.
Oh, well, this card leads itself to both of those very easily.
Jordan, you're up with describing the signs of past civilization.
Well, the signs of past civilization is pretty much written on the card itself.
Mysterious ruins.
Yep. So these 6 moons are orbiting the planet of Palatu. Palatu is actually a word from, I think it was Samoan mythology, that is basically the entrance to the underworld. I want to say that this is the place that Atua originally came into the universe.
Do we know that, or can we say that you are finding...
I am finding evidence that claims that.
So, like, inscriptions in these ruins. Okay. And then from your perspective.
So I think I'm going to go with what unexpected thing do you find here that isn't on your maps?
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say that the planet itself has become a congregating location for our equivalent of star whales. Large interstellar life that seems to traverse the galaxy outside of any kind of planetary realms. It's, something that you come across on a fairly regular basis. It's not really quite sure if they are sentient or not, but for some reason they have been drawn back to this planet. And they are actually gathering around the rings of all the moons. And it seems like they are singing to the moons.
But nobody can hear them because they're in space.
Well, it's like at a radiological frequency. It's all like UHF.
Yeah.
How many dice do we want to spend on the singing whale, the ruins that are being discovered there? My advice would be 1, because we want to save at least 1 for that Queen of Clubs.
Yes.
3.
3. All right. Partial success.
Partial success.
We need an unsubstantiated rumor about this location.
The unsubstantiated rumor is that there is something there is a field emanating from the planet that is keeping them from aligning. Because if they do align, then the parallels will reopen.
All right. On to the Queen of Clubs. Ellie, describe the peoples that we discover.
All 20,000 of them. Each
By
one
name.
individually.
Well, Phil has...
They are all named Phil.
They're actually there for a convention.
It's called PhilCon.
Philicon?
I also have prompts here if you would like prompts.
Spit some out, why don't ya?
Okay. How have the people living here adapted to the environment? What cultural moment clashes with yours? What cultural moment reminds you of your own culture? How does this settlement remember history differently than you? What does this settlement prioritize that you do not? What does this settlement know about this location that you did not previously? I really like the what cultural moment reminds you of your own.
No pressure. Hear me out. There is like a fan club. Borderline cult. But it's not a cult.
They know the difference between what they're fans of in reality.
It's a newly congregated fan club for the unborn baby of the incestuous pontiff and the Secretary of War.
So this fan club is here on the 6 moons?
Yes. Word spreads fast.
Apparently.
It's a scandalous bit of tea.
Did they learn about this unborn baby from you? Maybe? Maybe it was you were talking about it, you're a storyteller, you're an artist.
Yes! I sang a song.
They're obviously in full support.
Full support. There is supposedly a belief that there is a reason for the coming of this baby. The chosen one.
Well, there's a reason, all right.
And this was the bit of tea that I have spread out in my fabulous song. That's the group of people, and it's starting to grow exponentially.
Nice. I like it. And a perspective question, such as what here inspires you to create? How will you add to the story of this place? How do you embellish this place?
How do I embellish this place? I create another #1 hit single.
So you're the bard.
Yes.
That's our number.
3.
So we need to have a legend, rumor, or unsubstantiated information.
Every 1,000 years, there's a baby that is born on these ruins. This baby must be born on the night that all the moons align, creating the full effect.
That's what actually opens the parallel, is the baby
Yes.
being born.
Isn't it so when the Atua die,
The parallel opens.
parallel opens, but
When the Tua are reborn
The star collapses
to create the new
create the new Atua.
okay, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Never mind.
But we never said anything
But
about
then all the space
parallels.
whales are like the animals in the Lion King that come to celebrate the
So what I have every 1,000 years, baby's born on the alignment of moons, opens the parallels portal.
Yes.
Boom. All right, we also have found a relic, something that is part of these ruins, something that we found here, a little baby idol.
A baby idol.
Bronzed baby booties.
It could be.
You mean shoes? Yes. All right, now remember this is canon. Booties. All right, that's all I'm putting.
Yeah, I meant the shoes.
On all of that note,
all of those discorded notes.
we have discovered the new relic. We will return, and on our return, we will be headed back
No, we're not beheading anybody.
to.
We'll be No, this is a GMless system, so Jordan doesn't have control.
Yep. He's got to say though. We will be headed back to New Hikili to resupply before we head back out. Thank you for suffering through Bone Throwers Theater.
We're sorry.
Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Aaron, Ellie, Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is bonethrowerstheater. You can also look us up on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.